Okay, so I want to show you guys what's going on with development visually instead of my usual great wall of text. Right now I'm going to be talking about how I develop textures. Now this is the uncompleted scene. Not everything in here is visually the way I want it to be yet. But I want to show you how I get to what I want. So in Photoshop I am digitally painting all of the textures. So there's no photographic information in here, and I'm doing this to kind of maintain an animated fantasy feel. So I select a color palette. Where's it at? There it is. That's the color palette I've chosen for this level. All of the colors I use are mixed from these on the screen. And, I'll do things like paint, cracks in. Yeah, wow. You get the idea, digital painting. There's a lot of traditional painting concepts that go on here. Less is more. I'm not focused on a lot of detail. This layer is some of the completed cracks I've painted, uh, some of the highlight layers that have been painted. So all of the textures are developed in this way. Process of digitally painting that kind of resembles traditional painting. And one of the reasons I do this is to paint lighting details into the textures. A lot of modern games use very heavy shaders, bump mapping, and specular mapping to create lighting, detail, and depth. Uh, but when they use shaders to do it, you start heavily taxing the video processor. And we don't want to do that because we're targeting mobile devices that aren't always that powerful. So to give an example of how painting your detail into the texture as opposed to relying on shaders can affect the outcome, we'll jump into my 3D modeling program. So here the textures are applied to their 3D pillars. And these pillars make up the building blocks of my terrain. The level's terrain will be an arrangement of these that are well thought out and fun to jump around on. Um, and the thing about this scene is there is no light currently applied to these pillars, meaning what you see is just the flat shading of the textures. And they already look pretty lifelike. They have a lot of depth, and they're not relying on scene lighting or shaders. And then once those get into the game engine, we will ultimately apply some amount of shaders and lighting. Here we go. So in here we have kind of a blue ambient color set with a kind of a low value and one directional light with no shadows that's kind of a peachy sun color value. And as you can see, it's running fairly smooth. Any of the choppiness is because I'm doing a screen capture right now. But this actually runs very smooth. And something to note is that the hardware I'm running on is an old 1.6 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, and the video card is actually the Intel, I believe it's the GMA X3100. So it's old, integrated in Intel, a step up from the GMA 900. And this is going to be a playable experience, even for old hardware, which means it's going to be delivered in a browser playably to even netbooks. Um, and it should port nicely, of course, to iOS and Android devices. So this is it. This level is titled "The Cliffs of Yesterday." I have texture work and some modeling work left to do with the objects in the scene and the arrangement so that they work as a level. But this is kind of your first glimpse into how I develop the art for the scene, and I will be completing this scene over the next 24 to 48 hours. And this weekend, I will launch a kind of a nice put together video production of this environment. Also want to note that character art, the modeling and texturing has also already been done. So you'll also be seeing that by next week, along with some animation tests. And next week, I'll begin programming this into more than just a scene and actually make it a game. All right, thank you for watching.